All right, we're live. I am just doing some last minute checks here on our agenda here. And yes, we got some music today. So we're going to be going over got a little agenda here. We got a couple of news articles that we're going to be going through. And also, of course, as you probably noticed from the name of the live stream today, we're going to be talking about the Negril sign. Of course, it is still a topic of contention, even after a few days, but that's okay. That's to be expected with these things. But today, we also have some other articles that I'm going to be going through. I think some good news, to be honest, and just some updates on things happening in and around Jamaica, some of them from in Negril as well. And then, of course, taking any questions that anybody has. Let me go ahead and actually send this out. I always forget to send this out before I hop on these lives, but that's okay. We can do it while you're here. I'm sure you don't mind. And we can hop into it. As usual, let me know wherever you are chiming in from. Always love to hear where everybody is from all over the world. Which city? Please say hello as I share this link real quick. Okay, I think we're good to go. And if you didn't join us on Sunday, I'm going to throw in the same commercial that I had on Sunday. I'm going to throw that in there today as well. So if you missed it, then you get to see it. And if you saw it already, sorry you're seeing it multiple times or more than once. So I will use that as a break. And I'm also going to use, so I have one commercial, and then I'm going to, of course, play the Negril video the Negril sign video that I put together real quick with my team here. And I think that would be just kind of bring a little context to those who don't know about the sign. And I also bring up the news article, and then you could kind of see it for yourself virtually in pictures and in video. So we put together a video. It's only a few minutes, so at least it'll give you a chance to see what it's about. Oh, hello, Kay. Hello, Carla Love. Thank you all for chiming in. Good to see you guys. Kay chiming in from Albany, UA in the house. Well, I went to UA. And Carla chiming in from Connecticut. Let me move this over. My monitor is a little bit in the way. Got a wide lens on today. Oh, no, that's it. Okay, sorry. We'll just have to live with it. Hey, Suzette. How are you? Good to see you. Happy Thursday to you as well. I had a... and the reason why your name kind of reminded me is because I had a podcast that I was supposed to be releasing today. I meant to release it at like 2 o'clock today or 1 o'clock. And just so many technical difficulties that I just didn't expect. Actually, the hard drive that I was using was messing up. I woke up early to get it done to meet the deadline, but didn't make it. It's uploading now, but it doesn't make sense to release it right now, especially we're doing the live. So I'm going to see when the best time is. Friday is usually not a good time for me to release content. So this may have to wait until Saturday. I'm sure you guys can understand, but at least we can do a nice premiere, which we haven't done in a long time, and everybody can kind of set their calendars and the time if you're available on Saturday, and we can get going with that. And it should be fun. It's another real estate video. So this is the one I promised last Saturday. This is the one with St. Alban Clark. He's a realtor here. He's based out of Montego Bay, but is making more inroads here in Negril. And he's also another person that is confirmed for ThropX in November, and another very, very knowledgeable real estate person. And he dropped a lot of gems in our interview. And I'm really excited to share that with everybody on more than likely Saturday. Like I said, I don't think tomorrow is a really good day to release, but at least it will be all uploaded and it'll be ready to go. So Suzette, you reminded me, because what I'm doing at the end of the videos now is really thanking the channel subscribers and also the Patreons. So And your name is obviously on there, Suzette. And so if I haven't said this before, I really do appreciate channel members and really do appreciate Patreons, because it really helps with the channel. It really helps with doing this, doing the lives, and also producing the content. So appreciate you, and I'm gonna try to do that on a regular basis. Just thank everybody in the video, because I do appreciate it. So it'll be in the next one on Saturday when we release. Hello, Elaine Kelly, chiming in from East Orange, New Jersey. Good to see you. King Naldo, what is going on, man? And he's coined the term for this channel, Throppers. That's you. We're gonna run with it, man. I like it. Throppers. It's perfectly imperfect. Nice to see you. Sonia Ross, nice to see you. $20,000 teeth. I can never forget that. So that's what we're gonna refer to you as from now on. Oh, but let's keep rolling. Let's keep rocking here. So let's get into the first article. So obviously, I want to talk a little bit about the Negril sign, but there are a few other articles that I want to get into before we do that. And let me go ahead and bring it up. And so this first article is, what is it? This is talking about the renewed calls for Negril to get its own municipality status. And we talked about this several times before. Okay, I stopped bothering you about that. We talked about this several times before, and it came up again with the whole sign situation. So it's cool. I mean, good timing, I guess, that they actually put a standalone article out about that. And this is something that we've been wanting for a long time here in Negril, and I think it's important. I think it's needed. I definitely think it's needed. I think it's going to. I'm gonna give you all. I'm gonna bring up the screenshot, but it's something that's needed, and I feel the best thing about this having our own municipality is that we get representation in Parliament, and we can really have teeth behind our voice, I would say, because right now, more or less, the voice of Negril is, my opinion, and also just from what I observed, I would say is pretty much the Chamber of Commerce is like the main organization. And then I would say second to that would be the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association Negril chapter. And those two organizations have become essentially the voice of Negril in terms of advocacy, because all those organizations can really do is lobby for what the community wants. And of course, that doesn't necessarily make up the entire community, even though the Negril Chamber of Commerce is a super inclusive organization. But it's not like the mayor. You know, we don't have like the mayor, like a mayor of Negril. We have Mayor Westmoreland, we have Mayor of Hanover, which are obviously the two parishes that Negril are split between. And so let's get into the article really quickly. I can read through it quickly. Is it up and running? Yeah, we got it right there. Okay, so let's read through the article quickly, just so we're all on the same page, and then we can discuss. Okay, new calls for Negril to get municipality status. Negril, Hanover. The issue of municipality status is Negril is back on the table, even as major development plans for the resort town move closer to implementation. Negril's need for autonomy was one of the issues discussed at last Thursday when State Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, Homer Davis, and Minister without Portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Matthew Samuda, met with stakeholders to discuss plans for the area. Some projects are expected to commence within a few months. Among them is strengthening the legislation that speaks to the ambit of the Negril Green Island Area Local Planning Authority, otherwise known as NEGALPA. President of the Negril Chamber of Commerce, Richard Wallace, has welcomed the development plans, including possible changes to the planning authority. Right now, we are straddled between two parish councils, two parishes, and it's not working. I think everyone recognizes that we need to have some kind of municipality status because a lot of the problems that we're having now can be resolved if that is in place, he told the Observer. Jamaica Observer. One of the things that we're not 100% sure of is if we are looking at a full municipality or some hybrid of that can function and give us the autonomy that we need to thrive as a town and a tourist resort. We all had that discussion out of the chamber president. Sections of the town now fall within either the Hanover or Westmoreland municipal corporations. For years, there have been calls for Negril to be the master of its own fate. In 2016, then Chamber President Lee Essa spoke of a vital need for the town to be granted municipality status. In 2018, Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Desmond McKenzie said that while he was open to the idea, Negril was not in the position to stand on its own financially. Obviously, we would have to look at how the town is financed. That is something that will be discussed, and the legal minds will look at it as well, and with input from the stakeholders. I am confident that we will come up with the formula that works, Wallace said on Friday. There's no disputing that Negril has earning power. Last Friday, during a ceremony to unveil a $12 million welcoming travelers to the area, welcoming travelers to the area, Minister of Tourism Edmund Bartlett said Negril has contributed a third of the $3 billion US the country has earned from tourism since the start of the year. He also spoke of a raft of plans to have the town benefit from some of the revenue it has helped to add to the state's coffers. One project will be the creation of Harmony Park replica. However, while the 16-acre park in St. James was constructed at a cost of $1.3 billion, the one for Negril may cost a fraction of that amount. Bartlett also revealed that the underutilized Norman Manley Beach Park, which has become an eyesore in the town, will be transformed into a public access facility that will provide much needed green space for the recreational activity. The park has been closed to the public since 2014. We are going to be revisiting the public spaces, of Negril. The first one that I have been given instruction for is the beach park. We are putting together in the first instance somewhere in the region of $250,000 to begin the process of transforming it into as Harmony Park looks in Montego Bay, which I really do like that park. That park is pretty beautiful. Anyway, stated Bartlett, who noted that the St. James-based park will be the prototype for such facilities to be constructed island-wide. While the tourism minister had first announced plans to develop the Negril Park, a month before the 2020 general election last Friday, he noted that discussions for the design and architectural work had begun just the day before. He added that while the project will not be completed overnight, the country has its commitment and where it will become a reality, also including the plans for Negril, which will see the involvement of various stakeholders, agencies, and government ministries as a long-awaited fix to the sewage system. There is also a plan to change the layout of Negril by removing the Norman Manley Boulevard and creating a bypass road. Yes, heard about that one too. In addition, about 5,000 rooms are to come on stream between Lucy and Negril and Hanover. Westmoreland is also slated for an additional rooms as well. During their meeting Thursday, Davis and Samuda assured stakeholders that consultations will be had every step of the way. The chamber has promised to be a partner and work with the government in making the plans a reality. Awesome stuff. There's also another article. We don't necessarily have to get into it, but it talks about the bypass road. Actually, I think we should get into it. We don't have to get into it now, but just my thoughts on that. They talked about a lot in the article there about, and I guess to stay on the main topic, which is the call for the municipality status. I honestly believe it's going to happen. It's long overdue. I don't know how towns and municipalities are funded. I do know that there is, I forget what it's called, but the general coffers, every parish pays taxes to, say, the national government, and then it's distributed through the budget debates that they have, and that's how they allocate monies for different things on a yearly basis. And I don't know how Negril will be funded, because I don't know how that works for Negril, I should say, because obviously Negril is bringing in a lot of money, like you just heard, over $1 billion US this year alone. And we just need a small little percentage of that to get certain things done here in our little community, and that would make a huge difference. I heard about the bypass road that would, I don't know where that would go, if that would go through Sheffield. and you guys know I like bringing up these maps. Do that now that I know how to do this screen share here. So we can take a look at it real quick and just to get a little understanding of where, and this is pure speculation. I don't know anything. I'm just trying to do my little map thing here that I really have no idea if where they're gonna put this. So just take everything I say here with a grain of salt. So just so everybody's on the same page. So this is the 7-mile strip here of the beach. So as I think we did on Sunday, the 7 miles is made up of, this is Long Bay here. So this is 5 miles coming down here. This is Travelers. This is where I am. And this is downtown here. And then this is Northern Negril. And then this is Bloody Bay, which is the other 2 miles, which makes up the 7 miles, right? And so what they're talking about is making a bypass road. So this is Norman Manley Boulevard, otherwise known as Beach Road. And what they're talking about in the article is doing some sort of bypass that would go around. So I guess, so you, like if you're coming, say, from Montego Bay or maybe Lucy or Green Island, which is, over here, going northeast now at this point, that you wouldn't have to, like if you're coming, if you needed to get to, say, Sav or Little London, you wouldn't have to travel the coastline here. You wouldn't have to go through Negril. Maybe you would go through somewhere back here, maybe through Sheffield. But the thing is, this is the Great Morass, and this is a highly environmentally protected area. And I always talk about how important it is to the ecosystem of Negril, and it's a big reason why we have a white sand beach is because of the Great Morass here. So there's no way, I mean, it would be insane. I don't even know. That's impossible that they would go through the morass. And plus, it's also, they have fires there because of the peat. And when we're in drought, it catches fire naturally. And that would also be dangerous. And then plus the cars and the smog being there with, all the birds and the wildlife that live there, and that's their habitat. It just wouldn't be ideal. It wouldn't be good for the environment, and we'd be really jeopardizing our ecosystem here in Negril. So it would have to be somewhere in like the Sheffield area, maybe somewhere going through, this is like all Canefield here. This is my assumption. I'll keep everybody posted on where that is, but I think that would be amazing if we did have a bypass, because one, I think that would really slow down the traffic that is going through Norman Manley Boulevard. And because, there's been some horrific car accidents there, but there have been implementation of different methodologies to slow things down. But still, there's a lot of, there's a much less car accidents now than there have been in the past, as far as like on a yearly basis. And I believe I believe this is considered a highway, which is crazy to think about. But technically, even though it's 50 kilometers per hour, but people are going like 100 and change. And so you have that fact. And then this, even though Negril is like a super, super walking friendly town, especially like you could walk on the beach. We have a shared user path here. I don't know if we can see it here. It's got, I guess that, this has to be it. So we have the road here, and then we have this shared user path right here. So this is for walking, biking, jogging. This is where I train usually every morning when I'm not injured. But we have about 2 miles. So from downtown, so this is the beach. I just hear it raining really hard outside. So if the power cuts out, you know why. So just stick around. And it usually cuts out like just for a second and comes back. Anyway, the South Negril River, and then this is the shared user path that starts pretty much down here. This is the little fishing village down here, and it'll start down here and it'll go all the way up to Couples Swept Away, which is right here. And this is the turnaround spot. This is where it ends right here. So you're looking at about 2 miles of shared user path, which I think is like a huge attraction for Negril. And I love it. I really appreciate it, training there every morning for the most part. And yeah, it would be more walkable with having the bypass, and then there would be less traffic because there's less reasons for people who don't have any business or need to stop at any, like, say, hotels, restaurants, or stores, or whatever there is on the boulevard. And then people who actually want to go there, they're going to have a little bit more free access, and I think that would be really, really good. So little geography lesson. All right, let's hop into the comments real quick, and we'll get back into the next article after that. Desti Joy, Desti Joy, nice to see you again. Thanks for hopping in on the live. Camille Lewis, evening. Thanks for hopping in. CB Bar, hello. Toronto, checking in the house. Only me, MOK. Hi there from Decatur, Georgia. Awesome, good to see you. Andrew, good to see you, man. Thanks for hopping on as usual. Shayna, love coaching. Yes, back with the geography lessons. It's like my new favorite thing now that I know how to share my screen. So it's going to be much, much more of that for sure. And as I see some channel members, I was saying when I opened up, I don't know if you're here, I was just thanking you guys for being channel members. And I have a podcast coming out, not tomorrow, but probably Saturday. It's uploading like right now as we speak, as a matter of fact. And I'm going to start doing thank yous to channel members and also Patreons. And of course, your names are there, both Shayna and Andrew. So really appreciate the support and appreciate you guys being channel members. Chris PW chiming in from the UK, of course. Good to see you again, man. K Natural, hello, welcome. Plenty Day Lifestyle, hello. WPB, should I know that? Where's that? Sorry. Seema on the Move, hello, thanks for chiming in. Blanks Brannick, Detroit in the house. Hello, KP. I think I missed a few up top here. Kevin Gaynor chiming in from Toronto. Got a couple Torontonians here. Angela Forbes chiming in from Jersey, and Ingrid, of course, from Orlando. Good to see you. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for hopping in. Thanks for joining. Kathy Hay chiming in from Baltimore. One love. And Paul says, lucky to catch you live driving from work. Okay, be careful. That's that could be dangerous. Hope you're just listening and not watching. So hello, Paul. Focus on the road. I'll speak up if you need me to. No problem. Glendale Lifestyle, West Palm Beach. Okay, didn't know that. Now I know. Thank you. SCG STW. Any cons to the bypass road? I would say I'm sure there is. I'm just like looking at the map here again. I'm sure there's going to be some cons to that. At the very least, I'm sure it's going to be disruptive in terms of Okay, back up. Told you, power is going to go out. Good thing I have my phone. I'm going to have my phone on standby. Let's see if we can get the computer up and rolling. and we can get better sound and better camera, but I think it's gonna might keep happening. It's raining really hard. Keep it moving. Okay, let me get out of this. Okay, we're gonna keep the camera up for a while. We're just gonna use the phone. I don't have access to anything now, but what I can do is look at some comments here. I don't even know how to add Oh, there we go. Shanta Thomas says, hello, Throp from the UK. So good to connect at the 7 Mile with my daughter. Thanks. Awesome. Thanks for chiming in. All right, not going to worry too much about the screen here. Okay, maybe I'm going to worry about it. Let's hope that this works. But STG, you're asking it be STG, STW, you're asking. Depending on where it's going to be, there may be environmental concerns. I'm sure they're going to have to go around the morass, and then plus they're going to have to cross a river to, no matter what, there's that river that goes, the South Negril River. I'm not sure if I don't know what the proper name, but that's what we call it, South Negril River. That's going to change. That's going to go all the way up. So at some point, they are going to have to cross that river. Um, Lorraine, hello. The house. Sorry, I can't put your comment up there at the moment. Oh, there it goes. Hold on. Oh, wait. Nope.
It's like a hurricane out here.
It's coming down pretty bad. Can go out there and check up on it a little bit later. Good thing we're inside. All right, we're gonna try to bring up the computer again, and then let's see. Oh, that camera's messed up. Okay, we. Sorry. Yeah, I didn't realize you guys weren't hearing me. We're talking about the sign. Thank you, everybody, for letting me know how to switch audio. So I was talking about the Negril sign and the vandalism that happened. So I was telling Nando, I think that's fake. I think that sound is fake. Let me show you why. I'm going to try and bring up the picture. As a matter of fact, let's see here. Desktop. But if you look at the picture you sent me, Naldo, it's the same day that they did the release of the grand opening or grand reveal of the sign, and you can see the banners, the flag banners there. So that's where, like, how could it be the same day that happened, right? So let me see. I can't find the picture. But if you look at it, yeah, I guess you can't put it up there. Let me see. I got it right here. I just want everybody to see, and you guys can tell me what you think. It's uploading. But yeah, I don't think it has been vandalized. That would be kind of crazy. I saw it on Twitter though. And wow, I don't know if you guys heard that, but that was some crazy thunder. This power is definitely going to go out again, so just a heads up. But that's the sign right there. That's the quote unquote vandalized sign. But again, you see those banners, those are yeah. Thanks for bearing with me, everybody. Appreciate it. Out of my control. All right. Let's keep going here. Hello from the UK. Treasure Best. Thanks for chiming in. I would have happily exchanged that warm rain for freezing cold rain over here. Is it freezing cold? I know we have this hurricane coming in from, I think it's going to, I forget what it's called, but apparently it's going for Puerto Rico. Going to pass over Puerto Rico over the weekend. I just saw it today. So this is probably what we're getting the effects of. Yeah, good confirmation, I hope. A Hicks, chiming in from the Upper West Side. Nice to see you. Okay, let's get into, all right, let me see if I could get through this article. Let's do that, and then we're going to get into the video real quick and the title of this video. Man, that rain is scaring me. That thunder. Is the next power outage going to come? All right, let's get into the bypass road. Hold on, is this the same bypass road? Hold on, I just want to make sure. Okay. Yeah, okay, not the same one. Okay, cool. Let's do that real quick. So this is talking about the bypass of Lucy and also Hanover, and I'm definitely bringing out the map in a second so everybody knows where I'm talking about. And I'll also share my screen so you can see the article. So you can read it yourself. I threw it in the comments if you want to read along, or you can just listen, or you can look at my screen here and we can go through it together. Negril bypass coming. This is written by Anthony Lewis of the Jamaica Observer. And this came out 2 days ago, September 13th. Lucy, Hanover, Negril has been added to the list of western towns where bypass roads will be built to address everything from traffic congestion to flooding. The announcement was made by Minister of State in the Office of Prime Minister Homer Davis last Friday, and it has been welcomed by the resort's town community, business community. Hold on, let me. Sorry, I just want to make sure it's not too long. In the not so distant future, the road bypass for Lucy will be a reality. And not only Lucy, I can speak to Hopewell as well. Also, we are looking at Hopewell. We are even looking at Negril to put the road more inland. I don't know how what? How? Okay. We'll get to that in a second. So there are a lot of things taking place right now, Davis said. The work, he said, is part of the government's vision of making it easier and safer to travel across the country. President of the Negril Chamber of Commerce, Richard Wallace, embraced the announcement as proof that the government has been listening to their appeals. He is confident that the bypass will not turn Negril into a ghost town, a fate that befell Black River and St. Elizabeth. No, absolutely not. Negril is a destination. People leave wherever they are to come to Negril. We are not a town that people bypass. We will design it in a way that it prospers, Wallace argued. However, while he welcomed news of the planned project, he spoke of the importance of balancing environmental protection with economic development. I agree with that. Whatever development we propose will have to be examined carefully for the impact will have on the environment. Whatever proposal to move the road will have to be looked at in detail and studies done to determine what is the best way forward, Wallace told the Jamaica Observer. He was responding to questions about whether he had concerns that the Great Negril Morass, the country's second largest wetland, would be negatively impacted. We have to balance development and ecosystem. There is no point in having a thriving ecosystem and the people are hungry and we are languishing as a third world country forever. But I am a big advocate for the environment because I know that without the ecosystem that we will have no beach, and without a beach, all this development will be in vain, he added. Minister without portfolio, Minister of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Matthew Samuda, who has responsibility for the environment, has given his assurance that the project will not impact the Negril Morass. He was also among those who toured sections of Lucy last Friday for yet another look at the flood-prone areas of the town. For years, residents have called for construction of the bypass for Lucy, which is along the heavily traveled route to Negril. Sections of the road are made impassable with heavy rains and traffic snarls that add hours to commute have become the norm. These inconveniences have implications for both locals and visitors to the country. In 2017, Minister of Tourism Edmund Bartlett told stakeholders in Negril that the government was mulling the possibility of constructing bypass roads for towns of Lucy and Hopewell. A year later, Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the announcement himself during the secretarial debate presentation in Parliament. Since then, there has not been any noticeable movement on the project. On Friday, Davis once again promised action. In his long-term plan that we are looking at as we speak, It is a long-term plan that we're looking at as we speak. Possibly in our next visit to this end of the island, we will be ready to look at an area that will be suitable to have such a bypass. There is no doubt that with that what is happening in Lucy cannot be allowed to stand for much, much longer. And so we have to make the necessary provisions from now, he said. So, all right, let's bring up this map. Let's bring up the good old trusty map so we can all go be on the same page, right? So, all right. So again, just make sure we're on the same page. We got Norman Manley Boulevard, Negril. This is the strip. This is the beach. And as we go north and start to travel, head east, this is Lucy here. And this is where I'm not the best on geography of Lucy. Okay, I know what I'm talking about now. Okay, I know where I am now. All right. So this is currently where, like, if we're leaving from Negril over here on the left side of your screen, you come around here and like this is how you have to go through Lucy along the coast here. One of these roads, I'm not even sure. And you have to go through Lucy Town to get on the other side. And so my dad always said that the best thing would be just to have a bridge from right here to right here, and you cut out this whole bay, you cut out going through Lucy here. And that makes sense. I don't know what the cost of making a bridge across the sea, but it seems, obviously that's a straight line. Shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, right? So that really does make sense if they could do a bridge right across this bay and cut out the whole bay, the Lucy Harbor here. And right now, let's see if I could figure out where we are. I might be doing this in vain. I believe this is, hold on, let me make sure I know what I'm talking about here. I can't really tell. Like I said, I don't know. But if you've been to Negril and you've been to Lucy, you know exactly where all the trucks deliver, right along that retaining wall. And that is where the traffic can be backed up, and that's also where the flooding takes place. So it's like kind of a double whammy over there. But that will be the bypass. And then I don't know the name of the road, but sometimes when I'm pointing, like you can see my finger, but sometimes when this road here is backed up, you can go up into the mountains and then go around and then come down another place. I've done that a few times when it's really, really bad. But I guess if they're not going to do the bridge, the bypass would have to be somewhere back here. It would be, I would hope it would be like some kind of straight shot from Montego Bay, maybe cutting out this whole spot. That would be like a long bypass. But let's hop over, keep going, and we can go to Hopewell. And we're heading to Montego Bay. So this is Montego Bay. And hopefully I don't embarrass myself and I can find Hopewell here. This is out of Montego Bay. Okay, I know Hopewell is after Round Hill, that's for sure. And before trial. Okay, here we go. This is Hopewell right here. So this is, I believe this is like kind of I believe this is, this is it. This is it. So this is where the traffic is like crazy in Hopewell. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. That like long, steep road that goes up into the mountains. And then this is where everybody gets backed up. And sometimes it's like Hopewell is backed up all the way past Round Hill, which is kind of crazy. All the way down here, you'll be just lined up in traffic all because of this one spot right here. It's just like a bad zone. And if you're coming from the airport, or worse, if you have to get to the airport to catch a flight, man, forget about it. You could be there for a very, very long time. So they're looking to just kind of just cut. It's just this one little part, like this little strip of road, like right here that holds everything up. So they're trying to just kind of cut that out. Again, where and how, I'm not sure. But those are the two bypasses that were referred to in the article that we just read. So that's the Hopewell one, and then the Lucy bypass right here, where the big hiccups are. Because if you did that, if you got both of those, like right now, I would say the average time it takes to get, say, to let's say the airport. That's the most important part. So I was going to say from Negril to Montego Bay, but let's say the airport, it takes about an hour and a half, I would say. But now if you cut those two bypasses out, man, if you cut those two towns out with the bypasses, you're going to be, I would say, pretty easily under an hour. I would say pretty easily under an hour. And also depends on the type of road it is. You know, is it going to be a highway or is it just going to be a bypass road, as they're saying? But to me, it can only go up, or should I say, go down in terms of, excuse me, the time that you're going to be saving. Let me turn my phone off. Hopefully, we don't have to do this anymore. I'm hearing the rain calm down. So anyway, yeah. So I think those things would really change just the opportunities for Negril, because now we can talk about cruise ships that go to Montego Bay cruise ships that go to Montego Bay, and it's less of a risk because you don't have those two bottlenecks. You can maybe get here in 45 or 50 minutes, and people who come on cruises, they can bus here, spend the day at a hotel somewhere on the beach, go to Rick's Cafe, wherever, get lunch at different places, and then hop back on the bus in time to get to their cruise, and they could make it there on time and not have a worry about missing the ship, like literally. So I think those are two really positive bypasses, and of course, as a community, I'd venture to guess we're going to really push for that. Okay, so let's get into the sign. We're almost at 50 minutes here. And like I said, I'm going to throw up I hope it's still here. Oh, let me get to the comments real quick. Scotty Bima, hello, good to see you. Thanks for hopping in. Wellington Warlock says, who actually believe that? Believe what? What are you referring to? Government has never been concerned about environmental impact when it comes to their agenda. Maybe in some cases. I would say as a community though, Negril, like if you know anything about this community, it is like environment first. And I can attest to that personally on multiple fronts and multiple fights where I was actually the leader of in a situation fighting for the environment and, you know, doing our best as a community not to jeopardize the very delicate ecosystem that we have here. And, you know, I don't know if this is what you're alluding to, Wellington Warlock. I just heard crazy thunder again. Wellington Warlock, but there is a propensity to think more about commerce and business than there is to take into consideration the environmental impact that some of these economic decisions make. So we as a community make it our agenda, our number one agenda and priority to try to balance that as much as possible. And I think we as a Negril community really put the environmental first. And it's something that we always concerned ourselves with, even when there are new developments and new hotels coming on board. As much as we want and need that foreign direct investment, and as much as we want and need new businesses for our community, we're not willing to do it at the detriment of the ecosystem, because we know the Great Morass, which they said is one of the environmentally protected areas of Jamaica and the second biggest wetland in Jamaica, is that it is very much one of the main reasons we have the white sand beach that everybody here comes to Negril for. And so in our minds as stakeholders and people who has their families here, who live here, who call here home, we are not willing to do anything that would jeopardize that, you know, whether it's, you know, a large hotel or whatever it is. We think that we have to do everything within our within our power, not only as community members, but as humans, to make sure that we have as less impact as possible on the environment. And of course, we have to be pro-development, and we are pro-development as a community. So it's a fine line to walk. And even if, again, there is that perceived propensity for the government to, or whoever, maybe even the private sector, some elements of the private sector, to push forward the agenda of commerce and business and development, and sometimes overdevelopment, as a community, we are definitely one in terms of protecting and fighting for the environment. And we can get into that, my fight, at some other point. That was actually one of the most stressful times of my entire life, as a matter of fact, but it was worth it. In my opinion, it worked out for the best. Scotty Beamer says that's a fact. When Grand Palladium was being built, it was well known that they dumped a lot of raw materials to the ocean. Yeah, I've heard some stories. I've heard some stories over there about development, and it's not just them. It's not just them. It's other developments as well. Other, unfortunately, hotels that have done that, not just in Negril, but other parts of the country. So we just have to make sure that, again, as a community, I can tell you firsthand, if we hear about it or see something, we're going to say something. We're going to try to do something about it. We're not going to go silently into the night by any means. If you know anything about Negril and the community leaders here. Okay, cool. Thank you for the comment, Wellington Warlock. All right, I said video time, right? All right, video time. Okay, this is the Negril sign video that we put together on Saturday. So we'll watch this and then go through the article. Enjoy.
I'm gonna tell you that I love you 100 times a day. You'll get tired of my voice, that's how much I'm gonna tell you that I'll miss you. I'll miss you if you go. Yes, I'm gonna let you know just how much I tell your mama, I tell your papa too. I'm gonna let everyone know about my love, so I really hope you love me too. Yeah, I really hope you love me too. I'm gonna tell you that I need you every day. You'll get weary of my touch, that's how much I'm gonna tell you that I want you. I wanna let you know, oh, you're the only one for me, no one else. I'm gonna shout it out, yeah, up on the mountaintop. I'm gonna let everyone know about my love, so I really hope you love me too. Yeah, I really hope you love me too. Oh, there's something deep inside.
All right, that was the sign, the Negril sign that went up the other day. Scotty Beaver, no, I do not think that is true. I throw that up. I'll throw this up for you so you can see. So this is I don't know if this is the same one that you saw, but if you look at the picture, those flag banners in the back there, that's from the day that they unveiled the sign itself. So they chose a really bad picture to Photoshop and make it seem like it was stolen. If it was stolen, I didn't hear. This is not the picture. I don't think. This, at least to me, I don't think. And I haven't heard anything here on the ground that they stole some letters. So that's my take on it, at least. Thank you for that. Yeah, no stolen letters. No stolen letters. Same one you saw. Okay, cool. Yeah. We're cool on that. All right, yeah, let's get into the controversy, if you will, of that sign, and we can hop into that. So it's because I didn't realize how big of a hot topic that this thing was, and I see a lot of chatter on Facebook and even here for the in the community and talking to different people around here. You're welcome, Scotty Beamer, no problem. So yeah, you hear a lot about the sign the last few days, and people are really upset. People are really upset, and some people believe that the money could have been could have gone to something else. And I understand that, and I can see from the perspective of those people, and I could see from just an optic standpoint why people could be upset about that money going to just a sign. And those people, and then you hear like it's being taken from, the hardworking taxpayers of Jamaica, and this is not what the community wants, and et cetera, that they don't like where the money was spent. And the other argument is that you keep hearing that, $12 million, I could have done it. Me and my friends could have done it for $300,000 or $1 million or $3 million, but a lot less than the 12 million. And keep in mind, as I get into the other side of this, that $12 million, and this was pointed out on Sunday, that $12 million is 79,000 US dollars, which is, yes, a lot of money. I don't have 79,000 US dollars. I promise you, not even close. But it's when you're doing construction, it's just like, that's not a lot of money, and I know that from doing projects here at the hotel. And, I'm not going to get into specifics, but that money is gone like that. And, there was other people putting on Twitter, I won't necessarily get into it, like the cost of like different signs that were erected around the world. I saw one for Toronto, for that Toronto sign was like hundreds of thousands of Canadian dollars. And so to me, it's like if we're taking that attitude, I'm like, all right, what can we use? What could we have used $79,000 for that could have an equal or greater impact than that sign? And then how many lives that could that 79,000 US dollars have touched, again, more equal or greater than the sign that's out there? And I would invite that thinking. I will also invite the thinking of, actually, I'll save that. So let's go to like the positive side of things, and in terms of why I think this sign is a very good thing for our community. And again, I would invite those people who are against it and think the money was wasted and we overspent it. And again, I want to be clear that everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and I respect everybody's opinion on this situation, especially if you're somebody who lives in Negril and is here and thinks that that money could have gone to something else. So let's move over to the positive, and then we'll come back to the arguments of the money being spent erroneously or frivolously or irresponsibly, whatever you want to call it. And so I personally believe that sign is like an amazing idea. When I first saw it being built, what did I think it was? I didn't even know. I didn't even know it was going up until it was like probably halfway through its construction. And we got to think like that sign is going to bring in so many people. Like people are going to come from all over just to take pictures with the sign. And even with those photos and the video that I put together, I should say, I was there for over 2 hours, and it was raining, and I was there for over 2 hours just to get those shots because there was just always people there. There was just always people there. And I just had to keep waiting and waiting because car after car after car kept coming to take pictures. And the effect of this, the rippling effect, it just cannot be managed in terms of the tentacles that's going out there. I already saw some Jamaican comedian influencers do a video. That video had already 10,000 views that they did in collaboration. I don't think in collaboration, but they did it. With the sign. And we also have to think that, as simple as it is, that sign, people are going to come to Negril just because of that sign. And all it's going to take is, if it hasn't happened already, is like some influence. And it doesn't have to be like it doesn't have to be like a Kardashian. It doesn't have to be, Mariah Carey or Kanye West or whoever, it doesn't have to be anybody like that. It could be a micro influencer. It could be somebody who has 500 followers on YouTube. And we know that niche communities are, in many ways, especially in 2022, more powerful than communities or a fan base that have, say, millions of followers, because you're following a particular person or a particular influencer because they're giving you some sort of value that you specifically are, and you and the other people in the community are interested in. And once these types of people and these people with these big followers, and I'm sure the tourist board has some influencers already lined up, and they start taking pictures there, their followers are going to want to come to Negril and come to Jamaica just because of that. I mean, it sounds so silly, and it really does when you really think about it. It's like, why would you go and take a picture in front of a sign? I mean, if you're like a huge LeBron James fan and LeBron James comes there and stands next to the letter E, you're going to go stand there next to the letter. If you're a huge LeBron James fan and you do everything he does and you buy his jersey, you got an autograph, blah, 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 you go to every game, you're going to want to do that. You're going to want to be a part of that. And you're going to say to yourself, LeBron James stood right here and I'm standing here too. And I'm taking a picture next to the letter E of Negril. And you're probably going to want to stay in the same hotel he stayed in, and you're going to find that out. You're going to be like on the beach and that sort of thing. So these are the sort of things that I think of in terms of the rippling effect and the amount of revenue and commerce that this sign is going to generate. And I already started talking about, actually I didn't upload these pictures, but I went to like the Toronto sign, went out the way. I went there with my brother, as a matter of fact, and we took pictures there. The Amsterdam sign, I forgot that I went there. Went out. I was like, I had to find that sign because it was just such an iconic sign. And that Negril sign is going to turn into an iconic sign. And it's just going to take years to build up its notoriety, if you will. It's going to take years to develop its own individual fame, and it's going to take on a life of its own. And it's like, I just invite people to like really think long term, think of, I mean, I won't say that, the Parthenons in Greece or nothing like that, but honestly, it's going to be one of those things. And so with the whole tax situation, we also got to understand that, and like, I know everybody's just pooling the government into one box and putting them in the same circle, but the money didn't come from taxpayer money. And the Minister of Tourism alluded to that and said that this came from the Tourism Enhancement Fund, right? And so the Tourism Enhancement Fund, where does that money come from? That comes directly from tourism. So every one of our plane tickets that you take to come to Jamaica, $20 of that goes into the Tourism Enhancement Fund. And that fund has been put together for tourism-specific projects. How do you get tourism-specific projects? People and in the communities have to apply for that money. So if they're like, I've talked to people in the Tourism Enhancement Fund company or department. I'm not sure what it's called, but if there are projects that you're in your community and you feel that need to get done, and you're part of the tourism community, you can apply to have it done. And people have done that and have been successful. And I know that that's something that we as a community, Negril community, are going to be doing and want to be doing. So it's not coming. And I just want to be clear and make sure that people have the information, in terms of how they make up their mind and how they make up their opinion, that they do have, correct, accurate information. So, that's the tax argument. And of course, you can still be upset at that. And you can say that could have gone to something else. But that's where the money came from the Tourism Enhancement Fund. Now let's move back to the argument of where else I wouldn't say where else the money could have gone, because in 12 million Jamaican dollars, it's like, in the great scheme of things, it's so small. Like, how many potholes could we do? Like, that cannot go to fixing a road. That cannot go to fixing a pothole, because next year you're gonna probably have to do it again, a patching program, right? To me, the whole road needs to be redone, like the whole Norman Manley Boulevard. Honestly, if anything, that's what we should be fighting for. And to me, if there's anything good in terms of the being critical or critiquing this project that comes out of it, to me, the good thing is like, it's stirring up these conversations of what needs to happen. And I think that is positive. I think that and I think it's good that people don't like this and people are upset about it. Because to me, it's like, okay, you don't like that and you think money should be going to X, Y, and Z. Okay, what is that X, Y, and Z? And then how do we get these things done? If we really want to get this road done, and we really want money to go towards redoing roads, people mention schools and things of that nature. All right, how do we get it done? How do we push forward for these things instead of complaining about what is getting done, which is, to me, is a net positive, that sign. I want to be very clear about that. I think it's a net positive, but also we got to recognize that, again, the arguments or the discussions in opposition to this. Like, this is good. We don't want, I don't want everybody thinking the same way or thinking, alongside me. Because again, I think this is going to allow us to talk about those things that really do need to get done and that maybe are important to other people there. So to me, it's like, again, if we want to get, like, say, the roads done, and that's going to impact everybody, that's going to save the shocks on tires, that's going to make, save gas, it's going to be more efficient in terms of people getting to and from work and school, etc., and everybody's going to benefit from that. Another thing, I was talking to another business owner about who was upset about the sign, and again, rightfully or wrongfully so, their opinion. He's talking about putting lights on the shared user path that I was showing you about before. I agree with that. I definitely think that should be done. And I think that these are things that we need to push for collectively. And if this is if we're really passionate about this stuff and we really mean that we want this type of change, it's not going to take one person. It's definitely not going to take somebody complaining on Twitter with misinformation about this sign. And, a lot of the people that I saw especially on Facebook forums, who were complaining about wasted money and this and that, a large majority of them are not Jamaican and do not live in Jamaica. I saw a lot of people commenting, but I understand people are very passionate about Negril. People are people who've been coming here 20, 30 years and they own Negril and this is their home. I get it. We have guests just like that here at Travelers. I understand. And so I look at that and I'm like, man, I was kind of surprised at some people, and again, not being Jamaican and not living here, that they were so passionately against this and saying that this was a waste of money. I'm just like, what's your idea? Where could have $79,000 gone that could have had such an impact, a better or bigger impact than the sign? So again, a little bit of a rant on that. I'll hop into the comments. I see them kind of rolling in hot and heavy, and we can get through them. But that's just my take on it. I think it's a positive thing, but I also understand the optics of, $12 million being this big figure, Jamaican figure. And it is a lot of money us as individuals, it's a lot of money. But when it comes to doing big projects and making big differences in communities and in towns, it's infinitesimal. It's so small. That can't really do much, I would say. I can't do that much. And, have my conspiracy theories about why did they lead articles with $12 million sign. I think they had to have thought of this. And I think this is going according to plan because everybody is talking about this sign and everybody knows about this $12 million sign throughout the country. It's being shared on social media. People are putting out fake pictures saying 2 or 3 of the letters got stolen. So the virality of this sign it's taking a life of its own. If this is going to be the next hot topic next week, I don't know, but it is right now. So anyway, let's hop into the comments and we can get some feedback and have some discussions here on the sign. All right. Let's see. Okay, I was talking about the Photoshop. TJC2 Cooper. I see your comments here. I'm gonna hop back to your comments in a second. I just want to talk about the sign and see what people think, and we'll get back into what you're talking about here. Awesome. Paul Williams says, awesome, beautiful, love it. Brainford Quest says, the only issue I have with the sign, it should have been higher, about 6 feet more. If way too low, it's way too low. Yeah, some people are saying they wish it was bigger. I wish it was bigger too. I wish it was. I mean, if we could have got like the Amsterdam big, that would have been cool. That would have been really cool. The Amsterdam sign, it's like people climb on it, and then people were also saying, why wasn't the Negril sign made of metal? I mean, of concrete, and it's sheet metal. Amsterdam sign is metal too, and it's hollow. Yeah, but you can climb on top of it and do that. Like I've been there as well. I don't know. Actually, I can't really say if it's hollow, but it's definitely metal. I know that for sure. So, everybody is all of a sudden, civil engineers and construction foremen. Julia for Justice says, everywhere around the world, they spend money on signs when the hungry could be fed. Again, $79,000, like you'll feed people for a few days, but then what? Where's the sustainability? I believe these signs are bringing in commerce. People are coming to Amsterdam or certain parts of that world because of that area because of that sign. You know, restaurants are benefiting. The construction workers who put that sign up here in Negril, they were able to feed their family. They had a job. The construction company had jobs. The architect who designed it, he got a job. You know, however many people were involved in that, whether it was done in the most efficient manner or not, I can't speak to that, but people were employed because of that sign. Leon Newton says, Throp explained that the TF funds are allocated for this very kind of improvements. I believe it's the lack of information how sign is an investment. Yeah, I explained that before. Thank you, Leon, for bringing that up. So just to reiterate, again, the money that was used for the sign came from the Tourism Enhancement Fund, and the mandate for the Tourism Enhancement Fund is for tourism-based projects. So if you want to do the road plan in the middle, you know, of Kingston, like the Tourism Enhancement Fund is not going to do that, right? It's for Negril, it's for resort areas around Jamaica for projects just like this, Leon said. And how is the Tourism Enhancement Fund funded? It comes from, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe it's $20 per plane ticket. And if somebody can back me up on that or challenge me on that, please let me know. But I believe that's how the Tourism Enhancement Fund gets its money. And again, the mandate is for tourism-specific projects. Julia for Justice says it is a symbol of progression. Scotty Bemis says, I love it. Those people obviously don't understand brand power. Companies spend millions of dollars on advertising because they have extra money laying around. Don't spend. Okay, don't. Sorry. Agreed. Marketing and advertising is so important. And we also got to remember, like, we're in 2022. We're in the world of Instagram. And this is going to... I was having this discussion with my friend yesterday, and he says that sign probably already paid for itself in this week alone, because he drives past there every day and people are always there. I wish I had the video to show you. It's just cars are just lining up there 24/7, taking pictures of that sign, and it's attracting people. And people are just gonna come to Negril, take a picture of the sign. Hey, let's go get some lunch. Hey, why don't we spend the weekend in Negril and go stay at a small hotel, go stay at whatever. And then they go downtown, they go to Jerk Chicken Man, they go to Juicy Patty, whatever. You know, money is being spent around the community, and it's going to happen. And to me, it's hard to deny that's not happening already, and it's going to continue to happen. Julia for Justice says, agreed. The sign is a draw. The money it will draw outweighs the financial loss to put. Yes, agreed. He says, I understand the sign, but it's a tough sell for people with immediate needs. And that's what I get. You know, that's what I can empathize with. And I understand that. And so it's, as I'm making this argument, like, I'm still putting myself in the shoes of those people who are thinking about immediate financial needs. And to me, it's just like, it's easier for me to say, don't look at it that way. It's for this, but that is what it is. And to me, again, if we want to have the argument, or we want to have the discussion of, like, what do we need to get done? And we have these discussions all the time on this channel. We have this discussion all the time on the live about where the government is falling short, where the community is falling short, where do we need to focus on moving forward and to have the most impact. And I personally take that on. I personally take that on with my platform. I personally take it on through my companies here, even with my family's nonprofit organization. So it's something that I would say is part of my life, you know, making my community better. And I don't think I could live. And even if I didn't live here in Negril, it just kind of always has been part of me, that came down from, like, both my parents, as a matter of fact, and my family is just like that. It's just giving back to our community that we live in and we call home, and having an impact on that community. And like, Negril is my home, Jamaica is my home. So I'm going to absolutely do whatever I can to have the most positive impact on my community, and not just kind of sit here and take, and, you know, be critical of this, that, and that person, so to speak. So Anyway, we'll continue here. This Ria says, LOL, there are so many things being wildly spent on that should be spent on poverty, etc. However, it is that tricky balance of what spending will add to life's joy and pleasure. Yes, it is definitely a tricky balance for sure. Johnny Depp with the sign. Imagine Pirates of the Caribbean. That makes the most sense. Bloody Bay. That's where the movie. That's the movie where the movie comes from. So, of course, that's a perfect. Johnny Depp would be like one of the perfect people to take a picture in front of that sign, because that is. Oh no, that's a little outside of Bloody Bay, I believe. But Bloody Bay is like a stone throw away. Hutchinson Johnson, throw up the sign. Is good thing people all the way complain. Yeah. Unfortunately, even for poor people, not to mention potential economic stimulation, as Throp is referencing in its attraction, it will be. Agreed. Donna Bryce, how you doing? Good to see you. This Ria says, because even with the money, even if the money wasn't spent on the sign, it will likely wouldn't be going directly into the hands of the poor or to alleviate their needs. Good point. Ingrid said, Missy from Capital Casual Negril posted a picture of the sign on her page. I did see that. Got a local influencer there. Again, she has 20-something thousand followers on her page. A lot of eyeballs, and people are sharing that as well. A lot of eyeballs right there. We need infrastructure to focus on infrastructure. Agreed. We had a lot of discussion just now on infrastructure, bypass roads, connectivity of Jamaica. So that is in the plans and is in the works. Rockman says the sign is fine. The government will never, ever help the people in need. It is just not the way the government works. Don't necessarily agree with that. I think, again, to my point, I was saying earlier, man, a lot of comments in it. I was saying earlier that like we need to continue to push for what we need. And I try to do it in my own little way here, not only with this platform, but here in the physical world and the real world, to push for what is needed. I can speak for the Negril community here. A lot of the needs the gaps that are in our community are being met, or at least they're trying to be met by a lot of private organizations. And that's everything from, different churches, the Mary Gate of Heaven Catholic Church with the soup kitchen, which my dad used to volunteer for every day before he recently had hip surgery. We do a lot of donations with them as well, especially for the yearly harvest at the church. That is the Negril Rotary Club. They do amazing work. And I always say with these organizations and the few more that I'm about to list, I don't know where Negril would be without them, honestly, because they do so much for the community. The Rock House Foundation, they do amazing work, not just for the Negril community, but all around Jamaica, as a matter of fact. And they have a huge fundraiser in New York, and all that money comes down here in Negril, and they like literally building schools and changing children's lives. Of course, our program here, Travelers, the Negril Education Environment Trust, where we are focused on education, and we're using tablets to use as a facilitator to educating students in life skills. And then they also are here at our business here at Travelers every Saturday going through our tablet programs during COVID. We opened a resource center across the street from Travelers and use it as a place for students who didn't have access to Wi-Fi, who didn't have access to electric tablets and electronics to do their schoolwork, which was being taught online and through WhatsApp. Theodora project, which is another great project that is also downtown. And I'm sure I'm missing many more organizations that do, again, fantastic work in the community that are really changing the lives of many of our community members. And we need more. These organizations they're nonprofits. They're doing the best that they can under the circumstances. But to me, this is a matter of a group of people who are taking and realizing the importance of helping build their community, and not waiting on the government and not depending on the government to make the change that they need to see, are at least helping the people that they see need assistance. And this continues to happen. Sandoz Foundation is another great one. I've worked with them. They opened up, I can't remember it, but they opened up a school here as well. And they do amazing work in the community, not just with kids, but even other organizations, they help out. We've worked with them before through NEAT. And again, these are individual private sector people doing what they can and what they feel necessary, because there are gaps and they see the needs in their communities, and they really push forward. And, you know, I have to commend them any time that I have an opportunity. So sometimes, you know, at least at this point, can't wait for I think we can't wait for the government to do things that we need to get done. Sorry, another little rant. Okay, let me keep going. Visria says the real issue is not enough for everything. We need for a decent quality of life and the infrastructure needed. Andrew Blake says 2 months from now, you will see so many influencers, vloggers, etc., showing this sign. It's all advertising of brand. Put a price on that. Agreed. I'm trying to got a lot of comments here. Julie says it will draw tourists. TJC2 says, I majored in policy studies with concentration in developing nations and picked up a master's in real estate development. Trust me, this is a misappropriation of funds. I mean, again, I don't know if you heard my whole thing. It's hard to say it's a misappropriation of funds. I mean, it's it's like so public. It's going to, I mean, again, I think me and my friend were saying, I think this thing paid for itself already. But again, you're entitled to your opinion. This thing is already bringing a lot of money. I hear you. If that's the way you feel. Visria says, I agree with you, Throp. I am struck how much, even with our pride, Jamaicans don't realize how iconic the country and all its sites are. I wonder, like, you know, when they did Emancipation Park, you know, I'm sure there was people that were pissed about that. I'm 100% sure that they were saying this money could go to this money could go to that, but it's an icon, like those I forget what they're called, but the statues in front of Emancipation Park, like they're drawing. Did they have to have those statues? No, they could have probably used that money for something else, but those statues are attracting people. I know it drew me there and I wanted to go there as well, but hey. TJC2 Cooper says we have to write off 20 and 40 page of papers on this stuff. I believe you. Visria says, so absolutely Negril is a notable site and the sign will be a destination for many to be seen with. Agreed. Rose, hello. Jamaica is iconic, Julia says. TJ says, Jamaica, the land of my fathers, but it could have gone into the schools. Yeah, it could have. Maybe it would have had an impact on one school. Maybe one school could have helped. I'm not saying that wasn't worth it. That wouldn't be worth it. But Sandy B says, what is the mayor doing for Negril? He's from Negril. He should be pushing for structural changes there. People will always complain. Yeah, people are always going to complain. Not going to get into politics, but I will say, I read earlier, I don't know if you were there, we were talking about Negril getting its own municipality. And I do believe that is one of the challenges that Negril has because it spans across 2 parishes. The article went into that, but I believe that we wouldn't have the same problems. Let's put it that way, if Negril was its own municipality. I'll say that. So that's something that we're fighting for as a community. Visria says, still, we love the passionate debate about all things Jamaican, which indicates we care about the place because this is too iconic Jamaican. I agree. I mean, I love the discourse. I think it's important. I think people should voice their opinions. And to me, this is how we get the best results. This is how we get the best option at the end of the day, is that we have this social discourse. And you're absolutely right, Visria, that this shows that people care. And this shows that people are willing to talk up about what they want to see done. And I think that's important as well. Synthwave, how you doing, man? Good to see you. ER says, as a tourist who loves Negril, in my opinion, Norman Valley Boulevard should be fixed up and cleaned up. Some of the garbage in certain spots, there are walking traffic, the better for business. I agree. So I made a video, didn't go too well, but one video that I had talked about the state of Negril and the state of Norman Valley Boulevard. It's not, I was going to say the word that I used in that video that caused controversy, but it's not how the state of Negril, I will say, it's not at a point or in a condition that I could say I'm proud of. And we shouldn't accept it. Honestly, as a community, we should not accept the way this town looks. As the Minister of Tourism said, Negril brought in $1 billion in the first 8 months of this year. Sorry, 9 months, September. The first 9 months of this year so far. $1 billion. A community, a little a town as small as we are, and we're bringing in all that revenue. There's no way our community, our town should look like this. There's no way Norman Manley Boulevard should look like that. And that to me is just like, that's a slap in the face, saying something like that. And like, that's crazy. That's crazy and for those that haven't been here, ER, you know, and you see it obviously, and you know what I'm talking about. You brought it up. It's just really should not be the way that it is. And garbage collection is an issue. We're doing a beach cleanup on Saturday. It is the International Coastal Cleanup Day. And again, Negril being a very environmentally centric community, that's one of the biggest cleanup days that we have. And no, not one of, it is the biggest cleanup day that we have throughout the year. And so NEAT is participating. So if you know anybody that wants to participate in International Coastal Cleanup Day, and I would say if not every country, most countries are participating, coastal countries at least, are participating in this. And it brings a lot of awareness of the importance of a marine life, the importance of the coast, especially in this ecosystem that I keep talking about, a very delicate ecosystem here in Negril. And we're starting at 7 a.m. on Sunday downtown at the Norman Manley Beach Park. And we have gloves, we have garbage bags, we'll have water, sanitizer, all of that. So if you want to come and participate and join and be part of International Coastal Cleanup Day, you can come down there and do it. Other hotels, Sandals is cleaning up. Treehouse has a team on the northern part of the beach. And so we're doing downtown to about Travelers, which is, I would say about half a mile, that we're covering. And we're going to have a bunch of our NEAT students. I will be there as well. I'm going to be on photo duty, but I participated many years in a row, International Coastal Cleanup Day. And then also NEAT has its several beach cleanup days throughout the year, but this without a doubt is going to be the biggest one. And anyway, my point in bringing that up, ER, is that there's the huge pile of garbage downtown that hasn't been picked up. It's just garbage. It's in the bright area, but it just hasn't been picked up by National Waste Agency. And we were just having discussions of, do we clean that up? And I'm like, no, we don't clean that up. We're not touching that. But also it's just like we've been trying to call them to come and pick it up because we have this coastal cleanup thing going on and we don't want to continue to add to that. So I know our administrator has been on top of that, trying to get that cleanup for Saturday. But again, this is community members taking the bull by the horn and making a difference in our community and not waiting for the government to do something, even though, yeah, they should be. And we will continue to do so to hold them accountable and really hopefully get this town to its potential, or at least get the very basics done, and I'm not afraid to be critical about what we should be doing and what this place should look like. And as I always say, there's just so much potential with this community. There's so much potential with Negril, and I want to be a part of that, of this community reaching its potential at the end of the day, and I think it's important that we do what we can when we can and where we can. So Shayna Love Coaching, thank you so much for the $5. Much appreciated. Last week, you mentioned online viewers who plan to attend ThropX will get replay. Will this apply to live attendees as well? Yes. So everybody, if you're coming in person, you have access to the replays forever. You will have access to it as long as you're coming. I'm not promising that for next year, but this year for sure. We're doing it, and because I want to be more what I call it, transparent about the planning process, because it's been very interesting. It's been fun. It's been stressful for sure, but I'm learning a lot as I go along. And this is definitely something that I like, even though it's not complete. I mean, I would love to do it again next year. So just kind of working with different vendors and, especially on the AV side of things, I want to make sure that is like tip top. So I'm excited to be working with a creative team that I reached out to that's going to be documenting the whole thing, taking care of the live stream. So I won't have to worry about that at all during the conference. But thank you for the question, Shayna. And yes, you'll have access to that forever. And of course, if you are you coming with the virtual ticket, you will also have access to that in perpetuity forever. Metho Nelson, thank you so much. Appreciate the donation. Really, really appreciate it. Metho says 100% correct. I remember the discussion about the Emancipation Park, and a lot of people did not like it, particularly the naked statue. I remember the outrage on the radio. I had no idea. That's the first time, I promise you, hand on my heart, I've never heard that story before. But it just goes to show you, just like nobody in 2022 is complaining about that park. Nobody is complaining about Emancipation Park. Everybody is showing pride, national pride for that park. But when you're in it, of course, people can't see the vision. People can't see the future. They can't see what it's going to mean 10, 20 years, what it's going to mean to their children and grandchildren and generations to come. And so this is the same thing with this sign. It's going to be controversy in the beginning, of course, but then people are going to understand and then going to feel the impact that it has. And I'm sure there are countless examples of this same thing all around the world. And I honestly do believe we are on the right side of history with the decision to erect that sign. Thank you for that, Metho. I appreciate that. All right. Let's see. TF funds also comes from cruise ship passengers, $2 or $4 per person. Not sure. There you go. Another revenue source for the TEF. TJ says, from what I've seen, it's not prioritizing the education of our youth and infrastructure that isn't wise. I mean, you could do more than one thing at a time. We've talked about before, I don't know if you want to call it renewed interest by the prime minister, at least he's coming to the forefront talking about the complete restructuring and overhaul of the education curriculum in Jamaica. And that is supposed to be, I don't know the timeline on it, but I know he's talked about it recently. We've talked about it on here, the importance of education and the focus that needs to be put on education. And I don't know where Jamaica's, like, from an honest opinion, like, I don't know where Jamaica stands in terms of the quality of education. I hear good things. I hear good things. I hear mixed things. I don't have any children, but I have friends who have children, and some of them are disappointed with what is being taught. Some of them, and I guess it depends what school you go to. Jamaica has like two problems, at least in the West I could speak to. We have an overcrowding problem in schools, and then we also have a dwindling teacher population as well. I think that's nationally, but these things need to be addressed. It's so important. And to me, and I agree that education should be made a priority, and I think it can be made a priority in conjunction with other things, because I think it can be a positive feedback loop. Investing in infrastructure, investing in branding and bringing more people in, increasing revenue, but also investing in education and having educated society coming out and being part of the working class. And you have this positive feedback loop, and it goes bigger and bigger and bigger and more positive, right? So and the thing with education, and this is the thing, like, I always think that it's something that you have to start investing in and doing from now, because it is such a long-term plan. Like, it's something that you're not going to see the return on investment for 20 years. And we got to think the education for a child starts at 0 and it goes to 18, 20 years old. And that's when you start seeing when these students and when these young people start becoming working members of society. And when we're old and gray and we're getting ready to retire and we look back, we got to be able to say our society is in good hands. Our society has moved forward and has gotten better since we were their age, or since 20 years ago, or whatever it may be, because we as the leaders maybe, or we as the people in positions to make change and to make adjustments in our society for the better of future generations made that investment today. And it won't be until 2044 or 42 until like we can look back and hopefully say we made the right investments and we made the right moves 20 years ago. And that's kind of the thinking that we have to have. And not only from a government political standpoint, because you don't want your government and your leaders thinking in terms of 5 years or 3 years or 4 years or whatever, however many years are left until the election. Like there has to be leaders that think in 20 years in advance. And I'm not saying that there aren't, but they're, to me, the majority of the thinking and how policy is formulated, especially when it comes to education, like we're thinking that far in advance. So point well taken. Infrastructure, we talked about infrastructure coming on board. We're specifically about the West in terms of those bypass roads, and the more interconnected that you can make a country, of course, the more commerce and the more free moving your communities are going to be. King Naldo says 20 years ago, Eddie Siago staged a walkout of Parliament saying building new highways that's not needed was foolishness. His predecessor, Andrew, would honor Siago by naming the same highway in his honor. Really? I didn't know that. I did not know that. It's just crazy. I don't know much about Eddie Siaga, but that's crazy. You know, that like now, like looking back in retrospect, like, right, how could anybody be against a highway that is much needed? How can anybody be against the interconnectivity of our country? Of course, environment and everything being taken into consideration, but man, and it's okay, right? It's like not everybody can see the benefits in the long term. And again, I encourage the social discourse. I think it's good, and I think it really helps narrow down the best idea. But at the same time, I'm hoping these discussions and these debates and the people on both sides who are making these arguments are not arguing to argue and, you know, not being opposed to it to be opposed to it, but they're coming to the table with genuine concern and then also having genuine ideas that they may think are better in terms of how the money should be allocated or spent, or what projects we should be working on and why. And, you know, and you should be able to back those up. And it shouldn't be you're mad or you're against it because to be mad and against it. It's just like, no, you really like truly think like this money should go somewhere else and it's going to have more of an impact. And, you know, this is my opinion. I'll leave it at that. Paul Lynch says, this is good. Not everyone understands investing. Yeah, not everyone does understand investing. And that's okay. You know, to me, it's like everybody's entitled to their opinion, but if they're not maybe super informed or maybe super educated on particular aspects of what they find issue with, I hope they're open-minded enough to learn. And then they're also open enough to be like, all right, you have a point there, right? And that's the way I learn, you know. And I'm not saying here that my idea is the greatest and I don't listen to anybody else and I just move forward steadfast. Like, not at all. Like I've been wrong on this podcast many times. I've been corrected, and my opinion has swayed from being on these lives and having these discussions because I have a differing opinion. And I think that's okay to change your opinion and change your mind on a subject matter. Some people think that just because they open their mouth and said this one thing, that they just are stubbornly just stuck on it just to be stuck on it, so they don't come across as being wrong. But it's okay to be wrong. Like, that's how we grow, and that's how we get better and expand our minds, by being wrong, by failing, and by learning and making adjustments on how we think. Sandy B says, thank you for this platform. You are welcome. TJC2 says, if I were there, I would help in the cleanup. Awesome. You know, there'll be many, many more cleanups coming up, at least through NEAT. You know, this is the biggest one. And I don't know if anybody out there who's in the live, that I'm sure if you live in near the coast in a coastal town, they have cleanup organized for Saturday as well. Again, this is a global thing, not just in Jamaica. It's happening all over Jamaica. I can tell you that. It's being pushed forward by JET, which is the Jamaica Environment Trust. And sorry, I think I saw and I forgot. I knew I saw that. Thank you for this, Donna. The Issa Trust Foundation has also raised thousands of dollars for medical equipment for hospitals. That is very true. And we've worked with the Issa Trust before. And that they do great work. They do great work in the community as well. Thank you for that. King Naldo says Jamaicans on all levels always criticizes developments in Jamaica. In their minds, it's just not needed, and such money should be used to feed the poor instead. I vehemently disagree with that notion. Fair enough. I'm gonna leave that right there, Naldo. I would have loved to participate, but I'm leaving Saturday morning. Oh man, no problem. We'll have more. Miss Perfectly Imperfect says seems to be an issue in many parishes. Yep, the garbage, right? I think that's what you're talking about. Oh yes, and please hit that thumbs up. That would help out a lot. We would really, really appreciate that for sure. T says, where do they put the trash after they pick it up? In a landfill, I would assume. I'm not exactly sure. I know this must have been 10 years ago. I don't know if you want to call it a study, but we were here in Jamaica and here in Negril. We did a bit of a study on that to try and figure out the logistics of the garbage and where it goes. But I actually don't know. I forget. But because we had our garbage problem, if you could imagine, was way worse than it is now. And we figured out that, I mean, I'm sure they knew it too, the garbage pickup people, that it was just because they were traveling from so far, and we were trying to find them a closer landfill. And I don't know if that happened. Honestly, I don't know if that happened. Sorry, I can't answer your question. See, I don't know where it's being put. TJ says schools and development is where the money should go. That's my opinion on two prime areas of focus. Tourism is good, but the majority of hotel money earned doesn't land in the hands of Jamaicans. TJ says I came down and worked with the schools during my undergrad, so I know where we need to improve. This is a good channel. Thank you, TJ. Yeah, I agree. I mean, you speak preaching to the choir right here. I'm a huge advocate for schools. I'm a huge advocate for education. Live it, sleep it, breathe it. We built 20 libraries in the last 20 something years through our nonprofit organization. Millions of books, thousands of computers, or probably in thousands of tablets now, I want to say. I'm not sure the exact number, but that's the only way that I believe that's the to me is like the main weapon we have to really improving our country is education. Like that's number one, number one priority. I can't disagree with that at all. As far as tourism, that's our number one source of revenue in Jamaica. Remittances aside, second to remittances, money being sent back from Jamaicans living abroad to home here in Jamaica. That is number one. That's our number one industry. So we have to protect that at all costs. And we got to remember, like, from a tourism perspective, we are fighting a global battle. We are fighting a global battle with that. And we got to do whatever we can to protect this golden goose that we have called tourism. And you got to understand that we're fighting against Mexico. We're fighting against the Dominican Republic. We're fighting against Puerto Rico, on and on. We're fighting against Europe. We're fighting against South America. We're fighting against Africa. And we got to position ourselves as best as possible. And these are huge. You got to understand, these are huge economies, many of them, those regions. We're fighting against somebody driving from New York to Florida instead of coming to Jamaica. And we want those dollars. We want those people to come here. And the tourist board's mandate is to put butts in seats on the airplane. And we need to make that happen because we know that is good, what is driving our economy. And without that, I don't know where we're going to be. What else do we have? Because we're not manufacturing anything here. I mean, we are, but I'm saying in any significant way, what are our exports like? we're just not. We don't have those types of industries. And I'm think, I would like to be a much more diversified economy, but right now what has been working for us and what is working for us is tourism, and we got to do whatever we can to protect it, and we got to do whatever we can to grow it. And we're doing that, and we have to applaud the leaders in tourism, the Jamaica Tourist Board, for that. And the Minister of Tourism, he is going out to new markets. We have, I forget what it's called, but it's basically not JPEGs, but there's basically a bunch of new markets that we're trying to attract are maybe coming on board. A lot of Eastern European countries that we've never had contracts with, that we're trying to get to come to Jamaica. And, these people are going to travel all around, especially those countries. These people, this is a big generalization, of course, but a lot of those people are like especially Europeans, like they're backpackers. They don't like to stay in one place. They like to travel around Jamaica. They'll take route taxis. I know this because they stay here at Travelers, and they come in with their backpacks, and they'll stay in our rooms for a couple of days, and they'll take a route taxi to Treasure Beach. They'll take a route taxi to Port Antonio. And that is economy. That is spreading the money around, and those are the type of travelers that those countries are, at least from the list that I saw. And we want those types of travelers. And we also want people coming from China. China is one of those, and I know the minister has been working on that for a while. And like even Middle Eastern countries, they love luxury brands. We don't have that in Jamaica. We don't have that where you can't come to Jamaica and buy a Louis Vuitton bag or Chanel or whatever, but you can go to the Bahamas and get that. You can go to Bahamas and get those brands. And I know that is something that the minister has talked about for a while, is trying to attract those luxury travelers. But Jamaica, in that sense, is not a luxury destination. It is an expensive one when you compare it to some of the countries that I named. And we got to understand that one of the things that really drives up our cost is oil. And I'm sure you already know that the price of gasoline, it drives everything. That's another reason why we don't, at least I think another big reason why we don't have large manufacturing facilities, because it would be so expensive to run the utilities. And that's not just electricity, also water. Water is incredibly expensive here. I promise you, running this hotel, it's very, very expensive. So these are the things that you have to think about as an entrepreneur, or if you're a manufacturer thinking about coming to Jamaica. And there's so many positive things about Jamaica that would attract a company to come here and set up some sort of manufacturing facility. We're close proximity to the US. We're basically in the same time zone as the Eastern Seaboard US. English-speaking country. We of course, we speak good patois, but we also speak very good English, and that's why a lot of BPOs come here. A lot of the telemarketing companies, I don't know what you want to call them, but that's why Jamaica is one of the destinations, because we have those attributes. And of course, it's the culture, outside of work, but from a business perspective, these are attractive aspects as to why these companies will come here. And I'm also not saying we could have companies in-house here and in Jamaica start up and do things and become multinational companies, but that's kind of happening with some companies with the Jamaica Stock Exchange. So I'm not saying it's not happening. King Naldo, thank you for the donation. Really appreciate it, man. King Naldo says the top 35 schools in Jamaica can rival any high school on the planet Earth academic. However, the remaining 125 schools are failing to pass students. Wow. That's I can see that. I don't know that to be personally factually true, but I know what you mean. I know what you mean. When you do take the good schools and you speak to these students, like, I'll say, I shouldn't say names of schools, but when you go speak to these students, like they are so bright. They are so smart, incredibly, incredibly smart. Excuse me, incredibly, incredibly smart. And you're right. Jamaicans, like these top schools, these top 35 schools, as you say, when they go out there and they go abroad and they go to colleges in around the world, they excel. They do exceptionally well. And so to your point, and I could see that. I could see the majority of schools struggling, because I know schools here, again, I'm not going to name names of schools, but I know schools here in the West that are struggling because of the same reasons that I said before. They have overpopulation, they do split schedules, and there's not enough teachers, and they have a really bad teacher to student ratio. So it's kind of like, and unfortunately in many of these schools, it does become a survival of the fittest situation, and it really becomes dependent on the parent and the village that they go home to, and the school kind of just becomes a guide of their education. And if you don't have a strong community and strong backing with those students to really push them, and I'm talking about when they go home, man, it can be tough. It can be really, 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 really tough. So, so a lot of people and points that were mentioned here today. Education, so important. We got to start now. We got to start today. Shayna Love, thank you. Yes, let's hit the likes, please. And thank you, Shayna. I really appreciate that. Metho Nelson, looks like thank you for the donation again, man. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Metho. Looks like the Germans will need a warm place to stay this winter. What is Ed Bartlett doing about that? Context of that comment. What do you mean by that? Is this a referral to what's happening in Ukraine, or is this Germans need to be coming to Jamaica for tourism? Looking for clarification there. But I do know Europe is worried about the winter coming up, and Europe in general, not just Germany, in terms of supply of oil because of the Ukraine-Russian war, which, who knows what kind of effects those are going to have globally, not just with Jamaica. All right, let's get back up to some comments here. I'm not sure if I read this, TJ. Oh yeah, I did read that. Excuse me. Your last comment here. I came down and worked with schools back in 2012, so I know where the money needs to improve. Okay, I think I read that one already. Rainford Quest says same thing said about Harmony Beach Park. There you go. And that park is talk about an attraction. That park is like absolutely beautiful. I haven't been inside. I've only driven past it, and I've seen videos, and I will get there at one point, but it looks so lovely, and man, great investment. Like thumbs up all around. I think people are really happy and proud about that. And hopefully we get something similar here downtown Negril at Norman Manley Beach Park, and something that we can all be proud of, and that we all can go to, and really help, really be a place where the community can go to hang out. And I mentioned this before, that Mr. Essa took his own money and he built a little playground park by the Hilo Plaza, kind of on the west end, at the start of West End, which is a beautiful park. I'm going to do a video on that, as a matter of fact. One of these days, I'm just going to go down there and show you guys. It's really nicely done. Julia for Justice says, I clean as I go when in Jamaica. Same with me. When I go out there doing like free diving, I pick up what I can, there's a lot of trash and plastic out there in the water. Simone Faynard says, Jamaica is actually competing with other countries when it comes to tourism. We need to remain competitive. Absolutely agree. Metho Nelson says, couldn't see the benefit of a highway, but saw the benefit of building garrison communities. I'll leave that there. I don't know too much about that. Honestly. Glenford Burrell says there's no need for a Negril bypass when traveling between Sav and Montego Bay. Lucy, but I do believe that Negril should become an autonomous zone. Things can be done quicker. Yeah, I mean, I personally think that Negril should get a bypass road between, just for, again, people not needing to go through Negril, and because there are many cars and trucks that are just literally just passing through to get to the other side, to get to Sav. And if there is something there to cut that out, I think that would be a good thing. Is it a priority? That can be debated. Julia for Justice says Jamaicans are very intelligent. Yes, they are. I can definitely agree with that. Yeah, Metho, if you could, Julia says hit that like button. Yeah, hit that like button. Would appreciate that. Metho, if you could just just elaborate on that and just clarify what you mean by that. That looks like Germans will need a warm place to stay, or if anybody knows what he could be referring to, I would appreciate that. And we're going to take a quick commercial break. And I'm going to play the video from Sunday, which is, let me check it. Which is just a quick commercial. Not commercial. It's not a commercial. We don't have any sponsors here yet. We're going to be getting them. We're working on it. Me and Candice are working on getting sponsors. Isn't that right, Candice? But and one day I will be able to say we're taking a commercial break and to say this is brought to you by blah 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 company, right? That's coming. But gonna take a quick break and you can watch this and I'll be right back.
손을 놓지는 못해 울어버리면 현실이 될까봐 참아보지만 같은 공간 속 서로 혼자인 채로 결국 눈을 마주보지 않는 우리 남이 됐겠지 차라리 미련과 익숙함 사이 그 어딘가 쓸쓸함이 정적도 견뎌야만 하겠지 이별도 사랑의 책임이니까
그런 말 하지마 내게도 쉬운 일은 아냐 빠듯한 현실의 무게가 버겁고 낯설어 마지막 나의 배려가 어쩐지 상처만 주는 것 같아 같은 공간 속 서로 혼자인 채로 결국 눈을 마주보지 않는 우리 남이 됐겠지 차라리 미워하면 차라리 미워지기를 미련과 익숙함 사이 그 어딘가 쓸쓸한 이 정적도 견뎌야만 하겠지 이별도 사랑의 책임이니까 혼자인 채로 결국 눈을 마주보지 않는 우리 남이 됐겠지 차라리 미워하면 차라리 미워지기를 미련과 익숙함 사이 그 어딘가 쓸쓸한 이 정적도 견뎌야만 하겠지 이별도 사랑의 책임이니까
Oh. All right, nice little break. Hope you all enjoyed that. If you already saw it, sorry. Okay, back on it. Got clarification on Metho's question, which is what is Bartland doing about that? I don't know. Haven't heard anything. And are you meaning like you think people are going to be displaced and you think people are going to need places to stay? You think the German government, or we should be reaching out to the German government to assist, kind of thing? Which wouldn't be a bad idea. I don't think that would be a bad idea. I got to look this up. I don't know. I figured there'd be something going on with that. I just don't really have comprehension on how severe and also how imminent that is, with the impending winter coming. So it's an interesting question. Like I said, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting time coming up, and of course, pray that this thing comes to an end sometime soon. But you just never know with these things. And if Jamaica can do something in that capacity, that would be amazing. That would be great. Amaru Nader says, I love Mobay, Ochi, and Kingston, but Negril has a different vibe. I would retire there. Yeah, I agree. I like Negril as well. It's a good place for retirement. Somebody is actually texting me on Instagram about they had an idea of doing a retirement home here in Negril, which I think is an amazing idea. My dad actually, I was part of the project almost, I think it's 10 years ago, almost either 10 years ago, just over 10 years ago. We tried building a hospital for Negril, and that was one of the main bases, was for having a retirement home for individuals, and we would do surgeries like hip surgeries and things of that nature. People would come, get it done a lot cheaper than the US, and they would recover here in Jamaica, recover on the beach, right? Recover in the warm weather, as opposed to maybe being in the dead of winter in New York in December or January, recovering from hip surgery, right? You could come down to Jamaica and do that. And so idea never took off. We did it for quite a few years, really pushing, I would say the better part of 3 years. Like, we really pushed to make it happen. Number of fundraisers, and trying to working with different branches of the government, private sector. But unfortunately, it didn't work out. And this young lady who reached out to me had a similar idea, I think it seemed like on a smaller scale. But I think it's a great idea. Other people have brought it to the forefront, to the table as well, and you can't lose. I think multiple facilities of that nature are needed in the market, and if you build it and do something of that nature, I think you will do really, really well. And I will add that to the list of businesses that can succeed in Negril. And there's a lot of land for that. Maybe not so much land on the beach, but there are many places that you can build a facility of that nature and be well taken care of, and be done at a fraction of a cost of what you would pay for in the United States. I keep saying the United States. I know we're an international crowd here, but that's kind of what I refer to most. And there isn't universal healthcare in the United States like in some other developed countries. So that's why I keep referring to the US. King Naldo says, "Hey Throp, it's very sad to see that there's a historical town in Westmoreland called Seaford that would be included in tourist tours being neglected." Speaking of neglects, I've heard of Seaford. I've never been there. I don't know too much about it, to be honest. And also, I don't know the history. If you can educate us on that, that would be great. I'm just Googling it right now. Just see what comes of it. Seaford Town. Yep, I've heard of it. Seaford Town is a settlement located in the parish of Westmoreland in Jamaica. It is located on the westernmost side of the island. It is commonly known as Germantown, which I think I knew, due to the settlement of the area by German laborers in approximately 1835. It was founded by Charles Ellis, first Baron Seaford. I don't think I doubt I've ever been there. But that is some good history. Hey, we're learning stuff here. Maybe I should show you what I'm looking at so we can maybe all get a little bit of an education here. Seaford Town, aka Germantown, as Donna Bryce just said. Yeah, I'm trying to share my screen. I'm pressing the wrong button. Oh, I already have it up. Okay. That makes sense. All right. Oh, I can't do that. Let's get that out the way. What's going on here? Sorry, guys. One sec. For some reason, my screen is not sharing. Sorry about that. But yeah, this is... I'll read it real quick. It says, after the abolition of slavery, August 1st, 1834, many planters saw an impending shortage of labor. Consequently, new measures were sought in an effort to solve this problem. One measure sought was the establishment of a European settlement by Lord Seaford, then owner of Mount Peeler Estate and Saddlewood Pen, which was located in St. James. Over 1,000 Germans were brought to Jamaica with the promise of being granted house, land, and employment. The township was established on 500 acres of land in the parish of Westmoreland. Although a number of Germans migrated to North America, some remained in Jamaica. Though the use of German language has died, a few words have remained. Some buildings in Seaford Town have retained varying aspects of German architecture, and Catholicism has remained the dominant religion. Today, there are many members of the community with Caucasoid physical features, and it is not uncommon to see a blonde-haired, blue-eyed member of the community. There is a museum in the town displaying the history of the township. Showcase forts. Ever since the capture of the Jamaica by the English from the Spanish in 1655, the need for fortification became immediate. Showcase courthouse. The Morant Bay Courthouse, which was destroyed by a fire on Monday, February 19, 2007, is an important part of... Okay, that's St. Thomas. Okay, cool. We learned a little bit about Seaford Town, Germantown. Thank you for that, King Naldo. Appreciate that. Now I can say I know something about that place. King Naldo says the first Germans to Jamaica settled in Seaford Town, Westmoreland. The area has a lot of German architecture and descendants. I need to check that out. Thought there are videos on YouTube about Seaford, aka Germantown. Okay, I will check them out. Thank you. And Donna Bryce says there is Dovu on YouTube about it. Documentary on YouTube about it. Got it. Okay, got it. Cool. I'll check it out. Peter V says, love your channel. I'd definitely love to be an advertiser when you decide to do commercials. Oh, hit me up, Peter. Throp@thropmedia.com. Yeah, hit me up. I would love to work with you. I'll throw that in the comments as well. Oh, and also, if you want to be on the mailing list for Drop X, please let me know. And all those people who submitted your email to me and emailed me, I got them. We were supposed to send out the newsletter today, but didn't work out that way because of my technical issues I've been having on the upload. So I've been focusing on that instead. So, but I got them. So the newest and shiniest newsletter is coming out tomorrow, and we'll get that to you. So no worries. I got them all. And Peter, if you like to talk about that, let me know. I just shot you, or it's in the comments, my email address. Please shoot me a note. I'd be more than happy to have a discussion with you. Miss Perfectly Imperfect says, very interesting history. I agree. I didn't know that. Metho Nelson says he could run a campaign. This is talking about the Germans, helping out the Germans with this, the winter coming up and the gas challenges that seemingly are going to happen. Metho Nelson says he could run a campaign, referring to the Minister of Tourism over there. It could be cheaper to come to Jamaica for the winter rather than buying overpriced energy. That's a good idea. And I don't think that would be unique to Germany, right? If I'm not mistaken. So, okay, maybe that can work, and we can do something to help them out in that sense. It could be duly beneficial. Excuse me. Julie for Justice says, I'm an RN in Toronto, Canada. Love the healthcare ideas. Thank you. And Scotty Beamer says, don't give up on. Love the idea. Don't give up on it. I believe you're referring to the hospital. It was such another stressful time in my life. Couldn't do it. Couldn't go through that again. Joe says, hello, just joined. Looks like the chat got a little intense, or maybe I'm reading out of context. No, it got intense. And then Joe says, ThropX is the same day as the Issa Trust Foundation in NYC. Oh, is it? Issa Trust Gala. Oh, man. I didn't know that. I hope we're not going to be losing out on people because of that. But that's a great organization, amazing organization, as a matter of fact. Donna Bryce says, did I hear the reviving railroad transportation in Jamaica as a possibility? Yeah, so they actually started doing a train from Spanish Town to Kingston for students. So I don't know how that's going, honestly, but when I saw it, it looked awesome. Looked pretty cool. I got to follow up on that, see how that's going. But I would imagine and think that would be a good thing, getting students off the road in terms of buses, less traffic, having students go on the train. And I understand it's exclusively for students, maybe for teachers, I'm not sure, but I know it's mainly geared towards students. Scotty Beam says, at King Naldo, we need to educate our tourists on our national motto, out of many people, one. Many people here in the U.S. don't believe I'm of Jamaican heritage because of my appearance. Yep. I've seen that before. But people don't understand that we are all shapes, sizes, colors, nationalities, backgrounds. Anybody could be a Jamaican, honestly. No, it doesn't matter what you look like. All right. Okay. We got any other topics here? Anything we need to discuss? If not, we can wrap up a little bit early. You know, we got more content to create and more content to work on here. As much as I love doing these live streams, I love doing this second one, this Thursday one. It's just so easy. Just being right here in the office, everything's set up. Just throw the camera on a little tripod and plug in the mics. 1, 2, 3 ABC. So I don't mind doing this, and we'll talk about. I guess we could talk about ThropX, but I'm always thinking about, like, how can I do more live streams? How can we do more? So we're working on that. We're figuring this out. After ThropX, we got lots of plans, but everything is being geared towards and focused on ThropX right now, and as it should be. But we're still trying to throw out content. We got a few interviews lined up as well, but yeah, I want to do some more live streams for sure. So got a lot of different ideas running through my head, but gotta stay focused. Anyhow, ThropX, as you know, we are doing a Jamaica Investment Conference in November 10th to 14th. And if you are unaware, you could visit the website, thropx.com, and you can sign up for the newsletter there, or you can shoot me an email directly, and I will put you on the newsletter listener, for tomorrow, Friday, the 16th, we'll be sending out our second newsletter for ThropX. And you can keep up to date with speakers, the itinerary, what we're going to be doing, and anything happening in terms of updates. And we're going to be doing this weekly, sending out those information. And then we're also incorporating what's happening with the channel and giving you not a history, but an update, what's happened in the last week as well. So trying to keep it interesting, not trying to spam your email box or anything like that. And hopefully it's information that you will appreciate. And ThropX is the 10th to the 14th, and the second 2 days, the 2 middle days are the main 2 days. Those are when we're going to have the panel discussions. I'm very, very excited that my friend Martin from Austro Jam is going to be the main speaker on the topic of farming in Jamaica and the business of farming. So I don't know in terms of how large his farm is, but he has a very big farm. He's a big, big supplier in Jamaica, and he's from Austria. And me and him really started developing a friendship through the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association. So I was a chapter president for 2 years for Negril, and then I was on the executive board of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association for a year. And, we used to travel all over the country, like meeting each other at these meetings, and that's how we became friends. So it's really awesome, and I'm super proud to be having him come on as a speaker, and he's excited to be there. And I know this was a topic that I did not even think of or even consider having a panel on, and it was you, the community, who had suggested and were interested in the topic of agribusiness here in Jamaica. And he is, with just like being in meetings and hearing him speak so passionately about farming and so passionately about the business of farming, and he can speak to just the minutia details of farming and the minutia details and technical aspects of the business of farming. And he is really an incredible dude. And again, really happy to be bringing him on board as a speaker and as a panelist. So that is one of the updates that I have for you. I don't think that's going to be in this week's newsletter, but you're here on the live. I have no problem telling you about it. And so next week's newsletter, we'll have that out, and you can read up on Martin and what he's doing and his farm and his business. And again, I cannot think of a better person to have to represent this topic and to be on that panel. So super excited for him to be there. But if you haven't got your tickets, we still have tickets available. And if you can't make it in person, we also have virtual tickets, and you have access to the entire weekend. And as I mentioned, we're also having the Negril tour, which is going to be on the Sunday morning. And I know it says Saturday on the website. We got to change that, but it's actually, we flipped it. It's going to be on Sunday morning instead. And we'll have the Negril tour. And the video for that is not going to be live. So if you are getting a virtual ticket, it's really just going to be for the 2 days and for the Friday and Saturday. And then when we put together the video for the Negril tour of both the commercial and residential real estate properties, it'll be a nice package. If you see my real estate videos, it'll be of that caliber, and it'll be produced at a higher level than we could ever be able to provide you if we were to do it live. So you'll have access to that. And as Shayna Love Coaching mentioned before and asked before about whether or not you would have access to the live stream version of this afterwards, you will. So everybody will have access to that, whether you come in person or whether you come virtually. You'll have access to that, to the replays forever, as long as the internet is working around the world. So that's the update on ThropX. Let's hop back into the comments real quick, and we can start to close off if that's what we want to do here. So thank you all for those who have booked, and whether in person or virtually, appreciate the support and looking forward to meeting you all. BP Limo Service says highway from Obey to Negril. Yeah, that would be awesome. Peter V says very interesting information on Germantown. My mother is light-skinned and has blue eyes. I'm dark-skinned. Oh, wow. Are you part German? Do you know that? Do you know that to be true? Is your mother from Westmoreland? Are those parts, Seaford Town, Germantown? King Naldo says the train is badly needed to be revived to revive our economy and country. When I was a child, we had the train running consistently in Clarendon. We have had many factories which employed many. Sigh, memories. Oh man, that would be awesome if we had a trains. Imagine we had like a train system that went all around Jamaica. Oh my gosh, talk about a change in the country. Talk about attracting like just a whole new set of people. And maybe imagine like commuting to work to Montego Bay from Negril or vice versa on train, like like the Long Island Railroad into the city. That would be, we can dream, right? We can dream now, though. We can dream. That would be so crazy. Tony Mac says, hello, when will you release the conversation with your dad? I'm trying. Good question, Tony. Good question. It's actually already edited and literally sitting on my hard drive. I think it's this hard drive. We're pretending it's this hard drive, but it's on my hard drive, already edited. Just trying to find the right timing, to be honest, in terms of how the content is rolled out. So it's there. It's there. It's just a matter of figuring out when I'm going to release it. So I will take your comment into consideration in terms of figuring out the timing. But thank you for the reminder, and glad to know that you are interested in that podcast. Really appreciate that. Julia for Justice says, farmers are the future with an Austrian fabulous. Maybe they will. That's what we'll name the panel. Farmers are the future. Rainford Quest says, great job highlighting our issues, greater things to come. I believe so. Julia for Justice says, can't wait to hear the Austrian. And yes, hit that thumbs up button. I would really appreciate that. Vintage Couture says, so excited about the agribusiness speaker. Yeah, he's going to be great. He really is. I'm excited about it too, because every time I speak with him, I learn something, like even just in our casual conversations. Julia for Justice says, trains, yes, for Jamaica. And BP Limo Services says, airport in Negril. Yeah, we've talked about that. That has to come. That has to come at some point, right? We need it. We deserve it. We deserve it, but we need it. We used to have it back in the day, but it wasn't really for flying people. It's for flying products, if you know what I mean. But yeah, commercial airport in Negril. We have one, but it's for like very small planes, like Cessnas and that sort of thing. But if we can have like an airport that flies like 747s or something like that, maybe not so big, but if we had an international airport in Negril, oh man, I know Montego Bay would not like that at all. They would not like that at all. We would, but it'd be good for the country, of course. It would be really good for the country. But we would love it. We would absolutely love it. Scotty Bemis says, Negril has a small airport strip. I remember it as a child. Are you from Westmoreland, Scotty? Because I remember it as a child too. I've only taken it once. My dad took me to, I think we went to visit my grandmother in Kingston. And I remember getting on it, and was it King? Maybe we flew to Montego Bay. It was a really quick flight. I can't remember, but I do remember it was Air Jamaica, and it was just like my stomach kept going up and down, up and down. It was like the absolute scariest flight that I ever took in my entire life. But it was just good to know that was there. And it was like a regular thing. Like it was Air Jamaica that did it. And I was deathly afraid. And my dad, he warned me. He's like, this is not going to be like a regular plane. And it was crazy. It definitely wasn't. It was a very crazy flight. But that's cool that you remember it too. I didn't know you were around these parts as a kid like I was. Leon Wellington says, hi, Throp. I joined late, but you're doing a fantastic job. Thank you. I watched most of your interviews. Thank you so much. I appreciate the comment, Leon. I do, and I appreciate you watching. So, unless there's any other questions, I think we're gonna kind of leave it there. I'm not in a rush or anything, but we're getting together on Sunday. We are dropping we're dropping a podcast on Saturday for sure, because let me check, but I believe it is already uploaded, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just going to double check. And no, it is not. Man. All right, we'll deal with that. I've been having technical issues all day, I promise you. And it was probably because of the little hurricane that we had, and that kind of messed things up. So I'm gonna actually just upload this when I get home because it's kind of late. This is probably gonna take a while. But no matter what, Saturday we got a podcast dropping. So that will be. We have a fun weekend of content and hanging out, and we'll make sure. Hey, we'll put it in the email. I'll have it uploaded by tomorrow, so we'll put it in the email, and you'll know about that podcast dropping on Saturday. Leon Wellington says there's one in Boscoville, so Negril should press for theirs too. I agree. Talking about the airport. Scotty Beeman says Hanover, yes. Air Jamaica Express, terrible bumpy ride. Yes, you remember it as well. Oh man, good old days. I don't know, but yeah, I remember those days for sure. At least that one time that I did it. Ebony X, good to see you. Thanks for chiming in. Thanks for joining. Tony Mack says, I remember riding the train from Kingston to Montego Bay with stops in St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, etc. Wow, I didn't know that. That's crazy. What happened? Why did the train stop running? That seems like so efficient. I mean, that seems like incredible. Like I can't imagine. And imagine like we had, I don't know if the money's like, but imagine we had like high-speed bullet trains like Japan did to all these places. To all these places. I rode the bullet train with my dad back in 2018. We took the bullet train. I think it was like a spaceship coming into the train station. Pretty cool. Those things go hundreds of miles an hour. Julia for Justice says, love to your sweet daddy. I think my dad is watching. So you see or hear it, Dad. Julia for Justice is saying, love to you. Thank you for that. Ebony X says, wow, Tony Mac, what year was that? Natalie Holmes says, Mercury retrograde. What's going on with my eyes? Dyslexic today. It happens. Joe says you should have an NYC subscriber meeting up when you come up. Yeah. How many people would show up to that? We could do that. We can make that happen. If you guys want to do that, we can do that. I'm going to be up in a few weeks. So if that's something you guys want to do, maybe we can do, even if it's like 2 people, that would be cool to say hello. We can do that, and I could post that when I do get up there and see if we can maybe do a coffee shop. If that's something that you guys want to do, let me know, Joe. I'm definitely down for that. I'm definitely down to do that. That would be cool to say hello to a few of you. Of course, the big meetup spot is down here in November in Jamaica, and Travelers, November 10th to 14th. Don't forget about it. But can do a meetup in New York in between. And I am doing, for those of you who are in New York, I'm doing the New York City Marathon November 6th. So like 4 days before Throp X, I'm going to be in New York running this marathon. So we'll make it happen. We can do it all, right? We can do it all as long as we put our minds to it. So if you want, we can, that's a good time. If you want to come out and cheer and support, I would, of course, appreciate that. We can meet up after the race. Of course, I don't know what the weather's going to be like. I'm probably going to smell horrible as well, but I'm sure I'd just be elated to have finished the race and we can say hello. But if you want to cheer on, pretty much if you live anywhere in the city, we go through every borough. I'll see you and I'll hear you. So that's November 6th, Sunday, November 6th, New York City Marathon. I'll be doing it. Looking forward to it. But thank you for the idea. Joe says coffee shop works. And Joe would show up. So it'll be at least 2 of us. So many New Yorkers on this live. We should meet. Yeah, I'm down. I'm definitely down. 100% down to do that. Good idea, Joe. Good idea. Peter V says, my mother is from St. Catherine. Her father was German descent. I see. Okay, gotcha. That's where the blue eyes comes from. Donna Bryce says, I have taken Air Jamaica Express many times between Mo Bay and Tensing Pen. We need those to come back. Scotty Bima says, I think it stopped running after the 1957 crash. I could be wrong. Oh, I heard about that. I should let me look that up. I should know these things. 1957 Jamaica. Just writing it down so I can later. For that, Scotty Bima. I don't know. I don't know when it was shut down or why, but that could make sense. Leon Wellington, Jamaica was the first country in the West to have trains. Wow, that's our history, even before the U.S. What? That's crazy. That's crazy. And I also heard that somebody can correct me on this, that we were like the first country, and I learned this going through my Jamaica Tourist Board training, like out in like in Morant Bay, all the way out east, like the first country or town to have electricity or have like electric street lamps or something like that. Somebody correct me on that. But I know we were the first with something with electricity and lights, and it was out east. Something just kind of triggered my memory, Leon, with that. I didn't know that we were the first country in the West to have trains. That's an amazing fact, amazing piece of history. King Naldo says the train went to Port Antonio too from Linstead line. Also a separate line from Maypen to Frankfield, Clarendon. That's great. That's so amazing. I didn't know any of this. I did not know any of this. Seems to be Jamaica was like really interconnected with the train. We could really use it now. I mean, if you've been here recently in any one of the major cities, the traffic is crazy. Anything that we can do to take cars off the road and increase the efficiency of movement throughout the country. KP says, I took the train from St. Mary to Kingston years ago. Look at that. Everybody reminiscing about the back in the day train situation. Amaru Nieder says, in high school, I took the train from Mobay to St. Mary and Mobay to Clarendon to attend Scouts camps. LOL, it was cool. That's so awesome. So awesome. That is amazing. Joe says, the train still runs. It does. I know the train we were just talking about from Spanish Town to Kingston. And then sometimes when I'm on the highway, I do see a train, but I don't know what it looks like some sort of like commercial train, not really a passenger train. I don't know what it's doing or where it's going, but every now and then I see it. All right. And then Amaru Nita says, and I took the train in the 90s. Look at that. Tony Max says, I remember taking the train in the 1980s. And Ebony X says, BX, I guess that's what you're talking about for the marathon. Cool. We'll be going through the Bronx. I'll be there November 6th. Julia for Justice says, love the beauty of blue-eyed, dark-skinned Jamaicans. Haven't met any of those. I met blue-eyed Jamaicans, but not dark-skinned. Leon Wellington, first to have electricity, Black River. That's what it was. Black River, I was saying Morant Bay. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Leon says, first to have electricity, Black River. Boom, there it goes. Scotty Bima says, I never took the trains. I didn't even take Judah and taxis until I was an adult. My dad or family drove me around. Well, I didn't either. I didn't grow up here, but yeah, I haven't had that experience as a child. Joe said it takes school children. Yes, that's right. Talking about the train. Julia for Justice says, Elite Jamaican YouTube put out a video recently on what? Metho says the church in Black River was the first place to have electricity on the island. Thank you again for the donation, Metho. Always appreciate your contributions. Thank you so much. And also, not just the monetary, but also the educational aspect. First place to have electricity on the island. Okay, got it. I should know this. I failed. I mean, I passed that test that I took for the tourist board in order to get my JTB certification. Like it's one of these tests. Like if you're in the tourism sector, like you have to take this course and you have to take this test, which was cool, which was fun because I learned so much about Jamaica, especially since I didn't go to school here. I missed out on a lot of the Jamaican history, and that helped me out, and that's what kind of triggered insight, which I apparently got wrong. But thank you for that, Metho. Appreciate it. Clovis Cameron says it's the bauxite train that you are seeing. Ah, okay, cool. Thank you. Man, everybody's so educated. Everybody knows what's going on. Like if I don't know something, somebody corrects me, or if I have a question on something, somebody knows something. So thank you for that. That's the bauxite train that I'm seeing. Okay, now I know. Next time I will see this, I will remember you, Clovis. Candice says, I know the trains in St. Catherine transport bauxite. Oh, there you go. There you go. Again, educated in the know community. King Naldo says Jamaica Railway Corporation stops passengers travel trains in 1992. Interesting. Learning all these different things. I learned so much when I do these lives. Thank you all. All right, I think we're going to start wrapping up. I'm going to try to go and get some food and get ready for this weekend of all this content we're going to be releasing, both in the newsletter and podcasts and live stream. So all that are coming up this weekend. So excited to do that. Want to make sure I didn't miss any comments here. Leon Wellington says first golf course in the West was Manchester Club in Mandeville. Didn't know that either. And King Naldo says only bauxite trains are still in commission in Jamaica. Julia for Justice says video on tramways, elite Jamaica. All right, I'll check that out. Well, this has been an awesome one, everybody. This has been a very fruitful discussion. As Joe said, it was a very interesting one in the comments, but I definitely always appreciate a robust discussion and passionate one, on whatever topic, anything with Jamaica. And today was definitely one of those days talking about different opinions, and that's okay. And I think this is very positive. At the end of the day, it's positive to be having disagreements, but also being respectful, and then also being passionate about whatever we think is best for Jamaica. And like I said before, this is how we come up with the best ideas and the best options on how to move forward, is getting the collective brainchild of all of us, right? So I don't even know if that made sense, but it was good. It was good. So I'm definitely looking forward to Sunday's live, and everybody can look out for the premiere we're going to set for probably Sunday morning. I don't know what time, but you'll get an email if you're on the email list about it. And then also look out for the notification. And if you didn't hit the notification bell, just make sure you hit that so you don't miss out. And so when I set the preview, and then I think a few minutes before the video is actually released, you'll get a notification letting you know that the preview will be in progress shortly. So just keep that in mind. And I know for some reason some people aren't getting the notifications. I don't know. I don't know what that is, but just make sure you have your settings correct. And of course, I want as many people to be there in the preview, because that's also a great way for us to have our discussions live. That's how we started out before we actually did the live sessions that are the live streams that we're doing now. So we got to go back to our roots there. Just want to get to these last comments and we're going to close out. Miss Perfectly Imperfect, loaded with information and history. Good night, Throp and chat. Good night to you, Miss Perfectly Imperfect. Metho Nelson says there's a Shakespeare villa in Black River where we're not sure if it's the same Shakespeare. Okay, didn't know that. Julia for Justice, much respect. Great discussion indeed. Wishing everybody a good Thursday evening and a safe weekend coming up tomorrow. And of course, we will see each other live once again on Sunday. Hope you can make it. Thank you so much for making it here this evening. It was fun. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.